the Central Coast Mariners, champions of Australia.
The festive season is upon us and things are typically tight at the top of the A-League men's ladder. Just 4 points currently separate the top six, two of who go head-to-head this afternoon in a game packed with intrigue, in no small part because it sees the return of Wanderers coach Marco Rudan to the home of the side he guided to finals football 5 seasons ago. Wellington are top of the pile, but the visitors can supplant them with victory here today. Which of these sides will head into Christmas with 3 points under their tree? We're about to find out, as they say around these parts. Merry Nixmas, compliments of the season, and welcome to Sky Stadium for round 9 action in the Isuzu Ute A-League men's, as the Wellington Phoenix host the Western Sydney Wanderers live on Sky Sport. Plenty of Christmas attire in evidence in the crowd today. Former Phoenix and All Whites goalkeeper Jacob Spoonley alongside in commentary. 1v3, what a Christmas gift will it deliver?
Oh, it's a privilege to have a top-of-the-table clash to start off the festive period. It's going to be intriguing to see how each of the coach positions for the encounter. Generosity off the field, Tiny. No quarter is going to be given on it. No guarantee of a result, but it is going to be competitive. Stay for the 90.
They say it's a time for giving. I think you're right, Jacob. There'll be no quarter given, none taken today. The teams are ready. We're just waiting on our officials in the tunnel, we're told. So they're just finishing their last-minute adjustments. Second in a double-header here at Sky Stadium this afternoon. The Wellington Phoenix women bouncing back from defeat to Adelaide a week ago in impressive fashion, beating the Newcastle Jets 2-0. Very much in the manner of the men who bounced back from their own defeat a fortnight ago against Newcastle with a good performance against Macarthur on Monday. Here come the officials, here come the two teams out onto Sky Stadium in their very familiar attire. No need for away strips or change of kit today. It is the Wellington Phoenix, led out by Alex Rufer, all in gold with the black trim, and the Western Sydney Wanderers in their red and black hoops. Got a shot there of Lawrence Thomas, named yesterday in Australia's squad for the Asian Cup next month. The Phoenix are unchanged after their 3-0 win over Macarthur on Monday night. Oscar Zavada is out for at least 4 weeks with a thigh problem, but David Ball is a more than adequate alternative in the front four. 8 of those 11 players, Paulson, Payne, Sermon, Wooten, Rufer, Pennington, Kryev and Barbarousis, have started every one of Wellington's 9 games so far this season. 2 changes, though, from the 11 that started last weekend's win over Adelaide United for Western Sydney, both enforced. Josh Brillante suspended after his red card, and Tom Beadling is not available after being forced off last weekend with a groin strain. In come Oscar Priestman for his first start of the season, and Alex Bonatic, who hasn't played since breaking a bone in his foot against the Phoenix all the way back in round 1. All 6 of Wellington's outfield subs are under 23. Reserve goalkeeper Jack Duncan must feel like a babysitter at the age of 30. A potential debut for 17-year-old striker Luke Supik. Still no Milos Ninkovic for Western Sydney, but Gabriel Kleur could be in line for his first minutes of the season. 18-year-old striker Alex Badalato will hope to add to his 7 A-League matches. Casey Rybelt is today's referee. She's assisted by a couple of Kiwis, Mark Rule and Sarah Jones. Adam Kersey is the 4th official, and Lara Lee is in the VAR booth. And arriving middle of screen, that is football man, 8-year-old Findlay Batty. He's travelled all the way from Scotland to visit family on the Kapiti Coast for Christmas, including his uncle David, who was a fairly handy player. Findlay is both a Phoenix and a Liverpool fan, so his favourite players are Wellington Phoenix striker Costa Barbarousis and Reds and Scotland fullback Andy Robertson. Costa Barbarousis scored his first goals of the season on Monday night against Macarthur, meaning he's now scored in 14 different A-League men's seasons, and it's just the second player after Shane Smeltz to chalk up double-figure goals for 4 different A-League clubs. Dutchman Jorrit Hendricks has been an excellent acquisition for the Wanderers, starting every match in his first A-League men's campaign. He's been crucial in covering Western Sydney's injury woes, slotting seamlessly into centre-back last weekend when Tom Beadling limped off injured. Giancarlo Italiano continues to navigate every challenge sent his way in his first season as a head coach in the A-League after a disappointing 3-0 loss to Newcastle a fortnight ago, which ended his side's unbeaten start to the season. He guided Wellington to an emphatic bounce-back performance away at Macarthur. And Marco Rudan, in charge of Wellington for the 2018-19 campaign, guiding the Phoenix to the A-League finals for the first time in 4 seasons before leaving for Western United and then on to Western Sydney. He's coached 11 times against Wellington, emerging victorious in just 2 of those 11 games. Off we go in Wellington. Second meeting of the season between these two. They played out a goalless draw at Combank Stadium on opening weekend. Wellington Phoenix, all in gold, attacking the goal to the left of screen. That is the northern end of Sky Stadium. The Western Sydney Wanderers in the first half, heading back towards the right of screen. That's the southern end in their traditional red and black. Western Sydney unbeaten on the road this season, a win and 2 draws on their travels. The Phoenix's 100% home record came to a rather grinding halt a fortnight ago when they were beaten 3-0 by the Newcastle Jets. They bounced back, though, to beat Macarthur by the same score Monday night and climb back to the top of the table. 34th time these two teams have gone head-to-head in the A-League men's. 12 wins for the Phoenix, 14 for Western Sydney, 7 matches drawn up to this point. Injury problems for Marco Rudan to navigate right across the season, including in this game. No Brandon Borrello, no Tom Beadling, no Josh Brillante through suspension, obviously. The depth of the squad, though, has been impressive, Jacob. He's brought players in and the team hasn't really skipped a beat, and if they win here this afternoon, back to the top of the table they go.
It's been an impressive start to the campaign for Marco Rudan's men.
Yes, Milanovic, and that rebounded by the looks of it off Scott Wootton last. Well, it certainly looked at first glance as though that had hit Wootton last. Nicholas Milanovic is certainly making that point to Casey Rybell.
It's a ball dropped into the back post and quite clearly comes off Scott Wootton. I think Mark Rule perhaps unsighted there, but that should have been a Western Sydney corner.
So Wellington unchanged. Sam Sutton and Ben Old both earning their first starts of the season on Monday night in the left back and central midfield roles respectively. No surprise that Giancarlo Italiano is stuck with the same 11 who were so impressive in Campbelltown on Monday.
No, I think the one change in particular that we saw for the game in Macarthur was the introduction of Ben Old into the midfield. It was always going to be intriguing as to how he was fitted in. An attacking player, obviously. The question was, would Italiano switch to a 2 and a 1 in midfield? But he kept the 3 and he's put Old on this left-hand side. And the combination play, particularly with Costa Barbarouses, really did catalyse the Wellington Phoenix that night. And we've seen the first indication as to how Marco Rudan is going to set up this team. Newcastle Jets came here 2 weeks ago. They employed a middle block. They didn't engage the Phoenix until the middle third, and they denied them. They frustrated them. Immensely disruptive, never let the Wellington Phoenix get into a rhythm, and I think we've seen the same again here.
Wanderers with another chance to attack. Dylan Parias, who scored an eye-catching winner against Adelaide last weekend. Great to see Alex Bonatic back in action, and 33 for the Wanderers. Haven't seen him since round 1, where, as previously mentioned, he broke a foot, or a bone in his foot. Marco Rudan already up into his technical area. Wootton clears the latest attempted Western Sydney Wanderers attack, but they'll recycle through Valentino Yule. This is Hendricks. Clisby raiding outside. Tim Payne's in the way, and it'll be a Wellington throw. Nearly 4 years since Western Sydney have played here at Sky Stadium. The last visit, January 2020. 3 of the last 4 Wellington home games against Western Sydney were at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong rather, the other one at Eden Park, so it's a patch of grass we haven't seen Western Sydney on for quite some time. Here's Parias, making room for the shot, Dylan Parias. And we talked about his eye-catching goal a week ago. He fancied another one there from distance.
Well, that's all about the win from Bonateg at the back. Comes through on Crave, wins the ball, puts Western Sydney on the front foot from broken prey. Parias confident after the goal last week. Perhaps a little bit too far out to really trouble Alex Paulson.
Enjoying his first season at the Wanderers. Western United for 4 years. A couple of seasons at Melbourne City for Dylan Parias. First touch for Lawrence Thomas. Graham Arnold unveiled his Asian Cup squad yesterday. He said Lawrence Thomas has been the best goalkeeper in the A-League men's for a couple of seasons. He might have some work to do here. Pennington, now Ben Old. Clisby's touch tight. Tim Payne with plenty of elevation on that one, and it'll drift behind for a goal kick.
An apologetic arm raised from Payne. What a chance that was to get an early ball into the box and test the informed Lawrence Thomas.
May well get action at the Asian Cup. He and Joe Gauci backing up regular number 1 Matt Ryan, who is suffering currently from a fractured cheekbone. No certainty he'll be available for the start of the Asian Cup. He's been named in the squad, but may be that one of Gauci or Lawrence Thomas take the gloves early on in that tournament anyway. These are the 2 best defensive sides in the A-League men's. The Phoenix have conceded just 7 goals, including 3 in 1 game. Western Sydney just 8, and 4 of those came in 1 game from the same player. Bruno Fornaroli with 4 goals against Western Sydney in 1 game. Other than that, they have been very, very difficult to break down.
4 clean sheets for the Wellington Phoenix, 3 in the last 4, it's got to be said, and then Western Sydney 5 to start off the season. It does speak to the way in which they've been able to stubbornly repel teams at times.
Marcelo rakes a pass over towards Jack Clisby. He just keeps it in. She does pretty well to direct it into the penalty area, away by Pennington. Yeah, Wellington aren't known for clean sheets historically. As you say, 4 in their first 8 games. The earliest they've ever kept 4 before was round 12. So they've been very solid at the back through the first third of this season.
Now, follow-up question. You've got to know what season it is, Jason Pine.
Well, 2013-14 and 2016-17, if you must know, Jacob.
And the Phoenix getting caught out here.
Antonsen slides it sideways. Milanovic. Good block by Wharton. Nicholas Milanovic on that left foot.
Well, it's confident play out from the back, which is what we've come to expect from the Wellington Phoenix. Laid on a foundation by Alex Paulson. But there's a bit of a trap being set here by Western Sydney. They've got the numbers for it, but they're not engaging the ball until it gets outside of their 18-yard box. You can see there, it's not a full-out press. They're wanting the Wellington Phoenix to move that ball forward so that they can then spring a counter-attack on them.
Well, there's no secret really anymore, is there, as to the way that Giancarlo Italiano's Wellington Phoenix want to play, particularly with the ball in their possession at the back. Parias has nipped in and got it away from Barbarousis. And I think his plant foot hit that. And it's gone behind for a goal kick. So he did a lot of things right there, Dylan Parias. Just couldn't get the cross. And I think it was his plant foot that took it away from his kicking foot.
Well, Costa Barbarousis, I think, either asking for a foul or expecting the ball to go out. Neither is given. And on the turf, Dylan Parias simply has the standing foot cleaned out from underneath him. That's what Paulson provides. He can go short. He's got the confidence to play quick, intricate passes in the 18-yard box, but then the range of passing to find the high and wide players. And it looks like it's going to be Costa Barbarousis and Ben Old that are occupying the corners of the Wellington Phoenix half.
Here is Old. Clisby's gone with them all the way, and excellent defending from, I guess you can call him a veteran now, Jack Clisby. 12th season in the A-League men's. Game 218 for Western Sydney's left back this evening.
I'm not sure that wasn't a back pass. I think that came from Costa Barbarouses. No one seemed to be paying attention. The referee didn't look to have an inkling of a free kick, and no one appealed for it. Regardless, that man on the ball, I think, has gone under the radar because of the impressive performances of Poulsen and Old now. But Finn Sermon has developed a really intriguing combination with Scott Whitten. Both players are in the top 5 for clearances in the A-League this season. Really resolute for Giancarlo Italiano.
Rufa rakes a pass out to Barbarouses. Simmons looking to halt his progress. Can't for the moment, but then into the head of Piraeus. Barbarouses again trying to get the better of Aidan Simmons, who stands firm. You mentioned Finn Sermon. He only started one game all of last season. He was really on the outer. Wasn't even making match day squads near the end of the season, but here he is. A 9th straight start, has played every minute, as you say, Jacob. He and Wooten have forged a very, very solid central defensive partnership for Wellington. Hendricks calmly back to Thomas. Jarrett Hendricks again. He impressed last week when he dropped back into centre-back when Tom Beadling was injured and hardly missed a beat. In fact, it almost enhanced his game. Jarrett Hendricks, he was able to step from the position he's in now into midfield and even into the attacking third. Very handy acquisition for Marco Rudan, the Dutchman. One cap international Jarrett Hendricks. Just as I say that, he doesn't quite get the pass right for Dylan Piraeus. Always the way, isn't it, Jacob?
It was about... It preempted my comment about not only are we seeing confident play at the back from the Wellington Phoenix, but Western Sydney have travelled and they're happy to try and find the free man just beyond that Wellington Phoenix press. That is adventuring further up the field. I know there was showing you 2 formations that were given to us by both teams, but I don't think either of them is entirely honest. Both teams seem to be employing a 4-2-4 in possession. Barbarouses and Old employing wide positions for the Wellington Phoenix alongside Ball and Kraev, and then Milanovic and Antonson occupying the central role with Piraeus and Yule outside them for Western Sydney Wanderers.
Too much on that one from Nicholas Milanovic.
A little work rate from the number 14 already this match. Immediately looking for that run off the shoulder as soon as the ball's recycled by his midfielder defence. They're looking for the ball himself. We're trying to stretch the Wellington Phoenix deep to allow more space in midfield, and then he's pressing as well. He's already won the ball back twice, as far as I'm counting, Piney. Putting Scott Whitten and Finn Sermon under pressure.
Nicholas Pennington's dropped back into the back line to try and get some momentum moving forward for Wellington. No way forward down the right, so they'll look to recalibrate now towards the left-hand side. Pennington drifting one forward, looking for the run there of Bojidar Kraev, and Lawrence Thomas was out very, very well. A friendly little handshake between the two as they part ways.
The highline employed by Western Sydney Wanderers. Not much pressure on the ball. And that time Alex Bonatig lost the run of Bojidar Kraev.
4 goals, sorry Jacob, 4 goals so far this season for Kraev. Equal leading scorer for Wellington with Oscar Zavada, who, as we know, is going to be missing for probably the next month.
Came with an important assist as well. Off the back of a beautiful phase of play by the Wellington Phoenix. 25 passes, as has been advertised this week. The other point to make about that play was every single Wellington Phoenix player touched the ball. MacArthur could not pin them in.
Yeah, it's pretty eye-catching stuff, wasn't it? This is a foul by Bonatic on Kraev.
One of the emerging subplots of this game so far. Both teams feeling each other out, trying to understand where the weak spots are, what they're looking to do defensively. Cagey, I think, Piney, is the way to describe it.
Absolutely nothing in the way of a genuine opening for either side yet, and when you have two of the best defensive teams in the competition up against one another, that possibly can happen. Paul Eiffel is sidelined for us. He's used to unlocking defences, or did, probably still could. What would you suggest for either of these two sides early on, Paul? We'll just get Paul's mic working down there as Western Sydney come again.
Piney, can you hear me?
Got you now, I think.
Back. Sorry, guys. Tough day down there with the mic.
Had to call on the IT department.
I'm back. Yeah, I'm back. Look, it's tough work for both sides down here at the moment as well. It's space is at a premium. Both sides are happy to let the ball go down the outside, but not through the middle. I think the way Western Sydney are trying to press, as soon as it goes into a fullback, Yule is being asked to press, Perez is being asked to press. I think if the Phoenix fullbacks know where they're going before they get the ball, they can definitely find a way out of this.
Kraev looking for a way out, sprinting away from Priestman, who's done well to keep up. Bonatic comes across to help out. Yeah, scoring the first goal has been important for both of these sides. Both have scored first 4 times this season and gone on to win all 4. So I guess the flip side of that is if you concede first in this game, you're up against it, certainly historically this season. 50-50 in terms of possession, as you can see from our graphics team. Wharton towards Kraev. There was no run, no one banked on Božidar Kraev winning that and knocking it down into the penalty area, and I think the Bulgarian wondered why there was nobody there.
Something that's noticeable for both teams. Because space is at a premium, often the attacks are coming in isolation at the moment. We've seen Milanovic try and get a knockdown.
Dylan Perez after this one, no one really with him at the moment, but he has earned a corner. In fact, flag up.
Perhaps a good example there, Piney, as Kraev got up to try and find a teammate down the other end of the field. Dylan Perez broke beyond, obviously offside, but as he got on the ball and looked up, the runs were coming really late. So what we've seen so far is just attacks in isolation.
It's Marco Rudan. If you missed our pre-game, I need to let you know that he's a bit lighter in the wallet. Marco Rudan, he was out getting his morning coffee, ran into the yellow fever, who are, well, at that stage were early on in their traditional pre-Christmas pub crawl. They spotted Marco Rudan and started chanting at him, but rather than ignore them and wander away, he went and joined them, ended up shouting around, which cost him $878.
I think a rush on the bar might have occurred there, Piney. That's only half of the story as well. He's been pretty presidential in the way in which he's come back to Wellington. There's a lovely hug in our pre-game that our cameras managed to catch as well. Voice of football in New Zealand, Jason Pine, and the Western Sydney Wanderers coach. Love and embrace.
Well, we haven't seen each other for a while, to be fair. But Marco Rudan said actually about that yellow fever group that as soon as he got the credit card out, just a whole bunch of new fans arrived. There was only about 7 or 8 when he took it out.
Don't we want to know where these fans are, Piney?
You can hear them as well, coming through the effects mic. Lovely gesture by Marco Rudan. He could easily have ignored them and wandered away and played the part of the villain, but yeah, maybe he's got a bit of credit in the bank with those yellow fever fans. Game of chess out there at the moment. Our stats don't show any shots. In fact, one shot for Wellington. But certainly a paucity of opportunity in either penalty area.
Game being played in Wellington's half.
Headed by Milanovic. It's always going to be difficult to get that on target. It's a bit high for the Western Sydney front man.
What I do like about Western Sydney is the way they set up with the front two, Antonsen and Milanovic. It's constant tension on a backline, in particular the centre-backs that they're up against.
Marcelo steps in and wins it for his side, but Wellington have it back. Foul there by Simmons on Barbarouses.
Barbarouses providing an outlet for Sam Sutton and then poking that one beyond Simmons. Wins the free kick, and I'm sure it'll signal a title change as Western Sydney retreat into their own half. More than happy to allow Wellington Phoenix to circulate the ball around their back four.
This is the first of 4 games we have for you back-to-back today in the A-League men's. Following this fixture, you can watch Sydney FC up against Western United at Allianz Stadium, the Melbourne Derby, City victory at Amy Park, and then Perth Glory playing host to Macarthur at HBF Park.
You just see everywhere that Alex Rufer and Nico Pennington go. Priestman and Hendricks or Milanovic and Antonsen are right there. Phoenix are not being allowed to pivot through the middle. Haven't seen one of those diagonal balls that have become a staple under Italiano. That is simply because of the congestion in the middle of the field.
Simmons is going to win that one. Barrios with a bit of a move into space. Here's Hendricks. Simmons again. Milanovic, there were calls that had gone out, but Mark Rule had his eagle eye on it.
Now Pennington and Rufer's turn to screen. See the adjustments that are constantly being made in that midfield. Checking shoulders to deny the ball into the strikers, then also making sure that they're touching distance from a midfielder.
Marcelo aiming for Valentino Yule. He may just haul that one in, but he's in a bit of a cul-de-sac at the moment, Valentino Yule. Uses Clisby as his outlet. Simmons. Great patience being shown by both sets of players.
The difference at the moment is that Wanderers are able to develop and progress play into these higher areas. Phoenix have been denied the opportunity on the other hand. What Wanderers will be attempting to do, I think, is get that ball wide and get an overload. Bring a fullback into play.
Sutton can't get it away from Dylan Barrios, but Barbarouses does, and again is fouled. And Cassie Rybel might be losing her patience just a little bit with not one player necessarily, but just the
frequency of the fouls that are coming.
That's the word, yeah.
It's not an apparent danger. The Phoenix aren't breaking forward with numbers, but Costa Barbarouses is starting to chalk up a number of fouls. And that time, Priestman gets a knee on the ball, but very clear contact with the Wellington Phoenix and number 7.
Enjoying an excellent season, Costa Barbarouses. 82 goals in the A-League men's now, 6th all-time, chasing Archie Thompson, who's closest to him, 90. Shane Smeltz, 92.
I think Alex Rufer's also chalking up a number of appearances for the Wellington Phoenix. Might have Tony Lockett in his sights.
Yeah, game 130 today for Alex Rufer. You're right. Tony Lockett, 131. And Wajidar Kraev had drifted into an offside position. Tony Lockett, of course, is who the Yellow Fever's pub crawl is named after. They call it the 12 pubs of Lockheed. Happens every Christmas, the final home game before Christmas. The fans assemble. They visit 12 establishments pre-game, during the game and after the game. There's Milanovic, shape to shoot. Looks to set up Antonsen. And he's, unfortunately for Western Sydney, given it away this week. David Ball misses his touch. Annoyed with himself.
The first time the Wellington Phoenix have been allowed to play vertically. You see there, Alex Rufer got on the ball and then tried to bring in David Ball. As soon as it crossed the halfway mark, it was snuffed out by a combination of Marcelo and Priestman.
Here's Yule. Plays a 1-2 with Jack Clisby. Clisby's in the area and wins a corner off Finn Sermon.
Here we go, the fullbacks are now coming into play. Western Sydney confident enough in that circulation to commit a fullback forward. We saw Simmons occupy an inverted role in the previous attack, and this time Clisby, underlapping run. Yule finds him, and then Finn Sermon drawn out to block that one for a corner.
First corner of the contest. Hendricks lines it up. Half away by David Ball for Wellington. Milanovic is waiting over on this near side. Simmons acts as a decoy. Milanovic still going. Can he find room for the shot? Does, but it's a rather tame effort from Nicholas Milanovic. It has, though, taken a touch off a Wellington player, so it'll be another Wanderers corner.
This time Hendricks gets to use his left foot to provide an in-swinger. Numbers around Alex Paulson and Tinson in front of him. It's Piraeus on that front post. Sure there'll be numbers crashing into that Wellington Phoenix 6-yard.
Hendricks bends it towards the far post. Paulson confident in his 6-yard area. This gives Valentino Yule a bit of a shove for no particular reason.
It's one of the ways in which Alex Paulson announced himself at the start of the season. Under a lot of pressure from Western Sydney, upwards of 80 entries into the final third, and then under set pieces, and I mean under them because the ball was often put on him. He was targeted. He came up with several very confident claims in amongst the forest of Western Sydney Wanderers players.
Ben Old's turned up over here on the left-hand side to try and change things up a little bit for Wellington. With no focal point, that is a player like Oscar Zavada. The front four can interchange and move around as they are. Old can't control, and Simmons got a bit lucky there in getting this one away, and they haven't been able to complete the job with Priestman not finding his mark.
He's bright though, jumping and cutting. Simmons did well to repel that attack. He's been quite comfortable in those tight spaces. And looking to get in beyond the Wanderers' back line.
Sutton. Now Ben Old with a bit of space to work in. A drop of the shoulder from Ben Old. And a corner one off Aidan Simmons. So Ben Old starting to reach into his box of tricks.
We haven't seen many fireworks thus far, but it's atrocious in the way in which it's been played. A lot demanded of these players mentally and physically. Spending large chunks of time without the ball, having to ensure that they know where their man is, know the defensive setup.
Wellington have no goals from corners so far this season. Is that about to change? Not if Marcelo has anything to do with it. Back out to Payne, though. Old. Barbarouses. He'll measure across into a crowded penalty area. Again, Marcelo is imperious in aerial situations.
I don't think either of the teams will mind that they haven't been able to impose themselves early doors. Wellington Phoenix developed the game against MacArthur. They did so against Perth and Brisbane as well. The second half was profitable for them. Western Sydney equally, if you look at Antonsen and when he scored his goals, he's got 4 in the second half, including 3 beyond the 80-minute mark. They're more than happy to go deep into games, both sides.
Yule, he's done well. Good strength from Valentino Yule across to Piraeus. Good header away by Sutton. Now the shot comes in from Simmons. Took a deflection. And Alex Paulson prevents the corner. Don't think that was going in from Aidan Simmons. He has just the one A-League men's goal. It was against Wellington last season.
Barbarouses turns it over, and Simmons, a deflected shot. That one's going wide. Good hands from Poulsen. But just look at the cauldron that he had with him. Guarded by Sermon and Wooten. Made sure that they got back. If there are any spills, they were going to be first to it.
Alex Poulsen, the owner of the highest save percentage so far this season. Lawrence Thomas is second in that metric. I can't remember Lawrence Thomas having anything to do at all, really. Been well protected by his back line. Wellington haven't managed to fashion too many clear-cut openings. Once again, Marcelo using all his strength and skill to snuff out the latest would-be attack. Once again, it's drifted into the centre-forward channel. That is meat and drink for Marcelo. And a foul and a yellow card coming the way of Alex Rufer.
This will be an interesting one to see the replay. Casey Rybart adamant that was worthy of a yellow card. Alex Rufer tending to disagree there. I think the arm was just up and away. He was just trying to feel where Milanovic was. I'm not sure there was an arm from Rufer that actually struck Milanovic in the face. So we see the replay. Maybe just a finger across an eye or across the cheek. I'm not sure if that's deserving of a yellow card, though.
Well, regardless, it's a fourth yellow card of the season for Alex Rufer, so one more would earn him a mandatory one-game suspension for 5 yellow cards. The accumulation of 5 means you skip a game.
Rufer, top 5 for 3 categories, Jason. Most tackles, most interceptions, and then, as I'm sure opponents will be mindful of, most fouls. Incredibly disruptive, both legally and illegally, the Wellington Phoenix captain.
David Ball in a congested midfield area. Old sees Barbarouses ahead of him. Squares it back, and Bonatic doing really well to divert that one away from goal, but it's behind for another Phoenix corner.
Well, they're feeding off scraps, but when they are getting on the ball, Costa Barbarouses and Ben Old are starting to cook a little bit down this left-hand side. Barbarouses looking to get his head up, trying to put that into the path of Božidar Krajev. I'm not sure if that was Priestman or it might have even been Milanovic tracking back on the Wellington Phoenix number 11.
So Tim Payne lining up another Wellington Phoenix corner towards the far post. Rufer gets a head on it. Western Sydney just struggling to get it away at the moment.
I think that was Valentino Yule, fantastic defending inside the 6-yard box.
Rufer drifts it out towards Ball. Can he haul that in? He's done really well, the Englishman, to keep that in and find a teammate, Payne.
My hamstrings could not do that.
Here's Rufer. He's urged to shoot by the crowd. He does shoot. Always rising up and over Lawrence Thomas's crossbar.
Just in the last 5 or so minutes, the Wellington Phoenix have started going longer. They're being more direct from the back. And we've seen it again here in midfield. Nothing on further forward. So Alex Rufer decides from around about 30 yards out to go for it. And Lawrence Thomas will be more than happy with that.
Just the second effort. Goal Woods for Wellington. Antonson's come all the way out to try and get more involved. Paul Eiffel sideline for us. Marcus Antonson, 4 goals in 8 games already this season so far. I feel I'll come back to that point as Western Sydney attack again. There is Antonson, and he's blocked. How does he get more involved in the game as a striker where the ball's not really running his way? What do you expect to see from Marcus Antonson, a pretty experienced player?
Yeah, look, it's a tough game for all the forwards. I've been in this position myself, and you're scrambling around. Is it your movement? Is it the ball's not coming to you? But like I said, space is at a premium at the moment. I think in these games you need to stay switched on, because a chance will come when you least expect it. It is very, very slippy out there at the moment, and you know, you misplace a pass or a bad touch by a centre-back and you're going to be in. So somebody will make a mistake, and you know, at some point in this game, and you've got to be switched on. Somebody with his experience, I'm sure, will know that. But it is frustrating the longer the game goes and you're not getting those touches, those comfort touches that you need to be sort of keeping your focus.
It's almost as if a goal is going to come from something that doesn't happen. I think a player won't be able to cover a piece of turf because of a slip. Someone won't do a recovery run.
Costa Barbarouses is touch, just letting him down there. That could have been the moment you were talking about. Wellington starting to feel their way into this game now in the attacking third. Kraev.
It seems as though the game's going to open up for Western Sydney if they can get the ball and allow the play to develop, to bring in their fullbacks. Where do you see the game opening up for Wellington?
I think it's the same both ways, actually, Spoons. I think both sides need the fullbacks to get involved in some way, shape or form. I think the best chances so far for Western Sydney, you look at Clisby, he played a 1-2, made an underlapping run, gets the cross in. I think Simmons has had a strike on goal as well. I think same for the Phoenix. If the Phoenix can get their fullbacks involved in some way, I think that's the key for both sides actually breaking this really tough defences down.
We've seen Sutton invert. He's almost becoming a defensive midfielder. But they haven't got the ball to Payne, and Payne's taking up a very high and wide position out that right-hand side. So I think if Wellington can turn Yule or get the ball beyond Yule into Payne, that's when Clisby's going to have some questions asked of him.
Into the final 10 minutes of regulation time in this first half. Valentino Yule looking to run at Payne. Deep cross, too deep for any of his teammates. Antonsen watching it sail over his head at the far post. Valentino Yule signed on the 1st of December, having spent time recently in Iran and Qatar. Had a year at Western United under Marco Rudan. South Sudanese international and an exciting player to watch, Valentino Yule. There he's on the ball again. Yule. Hendricks. Marcelo. Not closed down as he approaches the final third. Simmons. Looking to slide one into Antonsen, cut out by Rufer. Ben Holt, nice little shift of body position to get away from a would-be defender. Pokes it forward towards Ball. Here's an opportunity for Wellington if they can retain the ball. David Ball can't do that. Excellent build-up from Ben Holt.
Oh, that was the ball from Old that needed to happen. Question was Marcelo going to get the foot in front of him? No, gets it into David Ball, and he can't take it with his right foot. Momentum was lost there for the Wellington Phoenix, and it would have been interesting had Ball got that one under control, because Kraev and Barbarouses were already in advanced positions.
Once again, it feels as though Ben Holt is the spark plug for this Wellington Phoenix side, the most likely to create something in those little pockets of space, either centrally or, in this game, more likely in wide positions. There's just so little space in the centre of Sky Stadium, clogged with players of both sides.
There's definitely a gear change for the Wellington Phoenix. I think they're being forced into a pedestrian speed around the back. You can see players taking 2 and 3 touches, particularly Sermon and Wooten. Once it goes into Old, it changes pace.
Barbarouses just goes down in the penalty area. No suggestion of anything untoward. Antonsen is all the way back in his own half now, trying to get involved and just get his feet on the ball.
Talk about areas of danger for each side. We're starting to head into that period just before half-time where the legs are a little bit heavier. They're waiting for that break to come, looking for that mental rest as well. Don't want the game to be decided right before half-time.
Bojidar Kraev opened the scoring for Wellington against MacArthur in the 40th minute on Monday night, so that's the kind of time period you're talking about there, Jacob. Perez. Sutton tracks him all the way.
Something's done well this afternoon up against a player that's full of confidence in Piraeus. Only recently reintroduced to the Wellington Phoenix team. Lucas Kelly-Heald occupied that left-back position for the start of the season.
Yeah, he and Ben Old's seasons have sort of tracked side by side. They both started for the first time in the previous match against Macarthur, having had to settle for bench roles in the first 7 games of the season. They lived together, Sam Sutton and Ben Old, so they were able to sympathise with one another, and they weren't getting the stance that every footballer hopes to get. And here they are both in the starting side and adding excellent impetus. Now Antonsen latches onto a loose pass. Sermon's gone all the way across. Antonsen keeps it in, and then Sermon sees enough of the ball to poke it out for a throw.
He's playing with a smile on his face, Finn Sermon. Has every right to.
5 minutes to go in the first half.
Been impressed by Simmons' performance down this right-hand side. As you say, Tony, there's not been much space for teams to get creative with, but he is a player that's had the confidence to go into what appears to be a cul-de-sac and create something.
That's too close to Alex Paulson. Yeah, Marco Rudan is a fan of Aidan Simmons. Gave him a 2-year extension last month, keeping him at the club until the end of the 2025-26 season, Aidan Simmons.
It's the first time Wellington Phoenix have switched play in between Western Sydney's defensive lines.
Here's a chance for Dylan Piraeus. Waiting for help to arrive. He might just go himself. Piraeus slides it back. Milanovic. Good one-handed save. Piraeus. What a block by Sermon. Excellent goalkeeping and superb last-ditch defending denies Western Sydney the opener.
Oh, there's not much space in this game, ladies and gentlemen. Even by the barest of margins here. Milanovic gets the shot off. Great left hand. And it's Piraeus on the follow-up, but Finn Sermon reacts the quickest out of everyone. Big, stretching challenge by the number 3. No corner there for Alex Paulson.
Yeah, Finn Sermon has really grown into his A-League career. Here's Kraev looking to set something up at the other end. Here comes Ben Old with a header, and it's deflected in. Lawrence Thomas thinks that's hit an arm. VAR will check. Lawrence Thomas is absolutely certain this is handball, and I'm pretty sure Casey Rybell agrees. Have they chalked it off already? Let's just check.
Well, it's been called as a handball, so we're not checking for the goal necessarily, or if it should be overturned. Just confirming the free kick. The referee was positioned superbly to make the call. Gave himself time to make it as well. And Kraev gets in behind Bonatic. It's a dead run on goal for Ben Old, and Costa Barbarouses wheels away, but I suspect this is going to come off the left elbow. Yeah, was going wide nonetheless, and Lawrence Thomas reacts immediately.
Yeah, not a difficult one for Casey Rybelt to adjudicate on, but she got it spot on.
I think one thing that was missed, Jason, is that Marco Rudan was down in his technical area asking for a yellow card for that one.
Yeah, it was a bit cheeky from Costa Barbarouses to wheel away in half celebration, wasn't it? Here's an opportunity now for Antonsen, arriving untracked on the penalty spot and diverting it just wide. The game's come to life in the last 5 minutes of the half.
Was that Simmons again? Got himself into a pocket and able to deliver, and saw the late run of Antonsen. It is Simmons. Ball beautifully weighted into the 18-yard box, and then Antonsen tries to deftly touch that one into the back post. Not far away.
Well spotted, Jacob. It was Aidan Simmons who's been very good in this first half.
The Phoenix now need to get this ball down the left-hand side. They need to switch it. They allowed Western Sydney to get back there. Kraev had the chance. He was moving down the right-hand side. He could have drifted in centrally. Had he done so, Sam Sutton was in acres of space, something that has been an absolute premium in this first half.
It's exactly what Paul Eiffel mentioned before. You must be ready when that chance arrives. Antonsen was, and it was a pretty good shot, actually, given the angle of the ball and the small amount of space he had to work with.
That was a great phase of play. Simmons had time and space, recognised it, got his head up and looked for a run, found it, and Antonsen was part of that second wave. Plenty to ponder for Giancarlo Italiano.
Yeah, Adam Griffiths alongside Reuben Parker, the goalkeeping coach, the brains trust of this Wellington Phoenix side.
Bravery from Paulson there, and I think if Old had actually got his head up, he would have seen Kraev beyond the press. There's margins in this one at the moment, Piney. Alex Paulson displaying the confidence of a much more experienced player there. Took it onto his left foot, dissected that press, then had Ben Old managed to get his head up in the split second that he did have. Bojidar Kraev would have been through on the back floor.
Just the one extra minute to be added at the end of the first half, indicated by fourth official Adam Kersey. So time for either side to fashion one more opportunity. David Ball battles away, has it taken away from him. And that'll be a foul by Costa Barbarousas on the other 7, Dylan Piraeus.
It's been played in fairly decent spirit as well, Jason. A lot on this game. Of course, you don't win anything in December, but being top at Christmas is its own little reward.
Yeah, pretty even across all of the metrics. We'll break it all down for you in our half-time show. Western Sydney don't seem too concerned about creating another chance before we go to the break. Simmons. Piraeus, we've had the extra minute. Casey Ryboat just going to let this play out. We're going to have time for the corner. We are.
One final test for the Wellington Phoenix. Can Western Sydney pinch one right at the death of the first half?
Hendricks scurries across to take it quickly. It's towards the near post and dealt with. Out to Clisby. And dipping. It was Simmons with the shot. Last action. Priestman, in fact, third time lucky. End of the first half. Casey Rybout brings proceedings to a close. Thinking to do, perhaps, for Marco Rudan and for Giancarlo Italiano. Chance for the Yellow Fever to refresh themselves at half-time. A stalemate at Sky Stadium. 0-0 at half-time between the Phoenix and Western Sydney Wanderers.
No mai hoki mai, great to have you with us here at Sky Stadium in Te Whanganui-a-Tara, Wellington. We've got two of the best defensive sides in the A-League on show, and that is exactly how this game is playing out in the first 45 minutes in the halftime show here with Phoenix icon Paul Eiffel. Mate, it's exactly what I say, right? The defence is winning the game. How do they break this down in the second half, I think?
Yeah, it's been tough going so far. It probably sort of came to life with about 10 minutes to go. My thoughts are, I said on the sideline, I think the fullbacks for both sides have got to get involved. I think when that's happened, chances have actually started to be produced. I think Simmons is looking good for Western Sydney. I think if Payne can get a little bit higher and wider and we can get the ball to him, I think he can get himself into the game and he might be able to make that threat behind Clisby.
Yeah, for the longest time, it was just a game of chess, wasn't it? Two sides, afraid to make a mistake, just feeling each other out. And then the game exploded into life with about 5 minutes to go before the break. And it was Alex Paulson and Finn Sermon thwarting a very positive, very creative Western Sydney Wanderers attack.
Yeah, look, I would imagine both Chiefy and Redan would have been talking about making sure you follow up at both ends. And certainly here, there were two follow-ups. A follow-up from Pereira's and Sermon's block. That's worth a goal in itself. An unbelievable block there.
Not to be outdone, the Wellington Phoenix go up the other end. And we thought we had the game's first goal, courtesy of Ben Old, or was it of Costa Barbarossa's arm?
Yeah, look, Ben Old will be disappointed with his head. I think he's got to head that into the ground and try and hit the target. Costa has tried to give it the old, didn't touch that one, Bus, honestly.
You can't fool us, mate.
You can't fool us.
Yeah, and then there was still time for the Wanderers to maybe get on the score sheet. They didn't through this effort here. Antonsen sliding in, the ball going past the far post. Let's take a look at the first half statistics in this one from Wellington. Will they reveal the tale of a very even, very defensive affair, Paul Eiffel?
I think if you look at the attempts there, Western Sydney have had the better of it. Obviously 50-50 possession, so, and that, it's felt like that, hasn't it? Like I said, chances are at a premium for the Phoenix. Maybe the Western Sydney Wanderers having 11 attempts will feel they should have done a little better. Yeah,
it's very obvious that both teams are looking to play around each other and not through.
Yeah, and it's making it really difficult. I think where Marco Rudan has been smart, he knows that the likes of Old and David Ball and Kraev really love to have the ball and get facing forward. And that any time it's got into any of those three players, they are on them. If they need to foul, they'll foul early and then they'll just regroup. They've been very smart in that.
Ben Old had his first start of the A-League season against Macarthur. We saw his pace, we saw his energy, his enthusiasm. What have you made since he switched from the right-hand side of the field to the left, Paul?
Yeah, I think smart from Chiefy. I think he's seen a way that they can get around them. Like I said, he can't go through the middle. Maybe Ben Old going down the outside and getting crosses in, maybe joining in from that left-hand side will make a difference in this second half.
And linking up with the likes of Costa Barbarousis and Sam Sutton on the overlap, that's got to, I don't know, pay dividends at some point.
Yeah, I think I was down on the sideline and I saw Chiefy trying to get that over to both players there. Look, you can go beyond if you want, Sam, and we'll allow Oldie to get on the ball in this left-back spot. Maybe it'll make a difference, and I think it has.
And what about for the Western Sydney Wanderers? Their skipper, Marcelo, we know of his quality. He's showing it again here today in Wellington. It's not just the defensive interceptions that he's producing, but what about these long balls that he's hitting as well?
I'm just looking at his passing accuracy on the screen there, 94%. And I think I've counted 6 or 7 diagonal balls. So he's pretty accurate when he does it. It's just the timing of the movement from Yule or Antonsen. It's been quite smart. They'll start in the sort of blindside position of the defender, then pop in front of the last minute to get a touch. If they can look after the ball better up the top, I think you're going to see some joy from those balls from Marcelo in the second half.
Have the Wellington Phoenix almost been a little naive at times, sending in those long high balls themselves, easily cut out by somebody like Marcelo? That we're not having Oscar Zavada for a long time with that thigh contusion. You've got David Ball to aim at, for goodness sake.
Like, David Ball needs it into his chest. He needs it into his feet. If he gets it there, he'll get hold of it. But I think Marcelo, they've worked it out with about 10 minutes to go. Like I said, I think that's why we're seeing that as well. The second balls now, we're getting second chances because Ball can go up with anybody else on this pitch. Kraev can go up with anybody else on this pitch. If it goes to Marcelo, it's going to be headed back 30 or 40 metres.
So what happens in the second half? Because a win for the Wellington Phoenix will ensure they are top of the tree come Christmas Day. What gives them this one?
I think it's going to be a late goal by one or the other, and I'm hopeful that the Phoenix can get there. I think Chiefy's
Hang on a second, what's going on here? Is this one of the changing sheds? Marco Rudan's put on a movie. Come on, mate. Christmas Day's 2 days away. He's showing The Sound of Music.
Maybe
that's what I used to watch anyway. Well, once they've finished movie night in the bowels of Sky Stadium, we will have the second 45 for you live on Sky Sport. It's 0-0 at the break between the Phoenix and the Western Sydney Wanderers. Stick around for the second 45, coming right up after this.
time here at Sky Stadium. Wellington had the ball in the net in the first half, but it deflected off the arm of Costa Barbarouses. Ben Old's header was going wide. It hit Barbarouses on the arm and it deflected into the back of the net. Lawrence Thomas straight away was up and about, appealing to referee Casey Roybelt, who had seen it. And so 0-0 at the break. I guess the million-dollar question that Paul Eiffel and Goran Paladin were trying to provide the answer for at half-time, and I'll ask you to try and find a solution to, Jacob, is where's the goal coming from in this game?
Yeah, both sides rather cancelled each other out, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. It was an intriguing first half, but they were both conscious of the counter-attack, not wanting to provide space to motivate an attack from the other. In terms of the goals and opening up this game, I think ambition is going to be key. It's going to be mentality, bravery to take the ball at the opponent. And in terms of outlets, I think the right-backs are the most likely to unlock the opposition. Simmons was the difference, his energy down that right-hand side for Western Sydney in the first half. And then the player that hasn't really thrown a punch, Tim Payne. So productive for the Wellington Phoenix over the course of the first 8 games. Can Giancarlo Italiano bring him into the match?
Well, worryingly for those wanting a goal fest in the second half, these two sides have conceded fewer goals in the second halves of games than any other teams this season. Wellington have conceded 3 second-half goals, the Wanderers just 2, and the Phoenix haven't conceded a goal at all after the hour mark in any game this season, and Wanderers just 1 after the hour mark, so they've been better defensively in the second half than they have in the first. So with a scoreline of 0-0 at the break, you wouldn't bet on the goals raining in, but it's a funny old league, the A-League men's.
Of course, both sides did come away with a 0-0 draw in the first round. It's a very different looking Wellington Phoenix. There's also a very different Western Sydney Wanderers. This team's depleted at the moment. The depth has really been brought to bear by Marco Rudan.
Yeah, wouldn't Marco Rudan love to have Brandon Barello out there?
Josh Brilliante as well, Piney.
Underway in the second half. Wellington Phoenix now kicking from left to right on your screen. All in goal. Down towards the southern end of Sky Stadium. The Western Sydney Wanderers in their iconic red and black hoops. Now attacking the goal to left of screen. That is the northern end. Light rain's been falling for much of the game, but it's fairly calm inside Sky Stadium here. That's the part of the weather that tends to play havoc with football matches here, as the wind, the rain, particularly light rain, isn't actually an issue most of the time. If anything, it allows the ball to skid a bit more freely across the surface. It's an immaculate playing surface here at Sky Stadium, one of the better ones going around.
Truly could not have better conditions, particularly in December. It's overcast, it's not too hot. It's been a drizzle, which has created a lovely surface for the players to play on, and then the pitch itself is immaculate, as you'd come to expect from Sky Stadium.
No changes to either side at the break. A full suite of substitutes remain available for both coaches. And a wayward pass from Scott Wootton early in the second stanza. Just a hand of apology from the Englishman. Slightly sloppy piece of play on the far side involving Simmons and Hendricks as well. Aidan Simmons caught the eye in the first half in both attack and defence. Provided a peach of a pass for Antonsen to look to divert one goalwards. Pennington's run himself into trouble, and he'll get a yellow card for that, I would imagine. It's the arm across Antonsen. Casey Roybelt lets it go, and then it's given away to Pennington. Drifts on towards Costa Barbarouses. Can Costa bring it down? Can't at the first attempt. Takes him away from goal. Faced by Simmons. Sutton. Little 1-2 with Barbarouses. Clever. Into the area. Here comes Pennington. Away by Bonatic. Still there for Wellington. Kryev. And He's run out of room.
Well, the first meeting of the Titans there as Marcelo took the ball off Kraev. Composed, patient defending from the Wanderers captain. Saw this from the Wellington Phoenix against Newcastle Jets 2 weeks ago. Up against an opponent that is sitting off them. They're happy to recycle the ball to circulate it, but perhaps doing so at a pace that allows the defence to shift side to side and get set up. You can see the envelope developing as Valentino Ewell wants to block that pass into Tim Payne. David Ball this time comes deep but has to turn back in. And on the other side, Dylan Piraeus. He'll try and block the pass from Alex Arufa into Sam Sutton.
Alex Arufa and Nico Pennington dropping into the back line to try and create something. Here's Kraev. There's Sermon. A bit of space for Payne. Once again, patience is on display from both sides. If there's no way forward, they're quite happy to recalibrate. Here's Ben Olds. Payne again. Kraev's got his hand up in the penalty area, hoping for a cross. Doesn't come his way.
Oh, he's just received a stray elbow there from Marcelo. Not sure there was much in that. It was just a protruding forearm for me, but let's have a look at a replay.
Well, Marcelo was quick to check on the health of the Bulgarian.
It seems as though it might be a rather large size 13 on the foot. Here we go. Nothing more than a coming together there. But this is a position where Tim Payne gets on that ball. Aside from the contact here, if the Wellington Phoenix had Oscar Zavada, they'd be able to post him up against Marcelo. That means that Bozidar Kraev can then play off him. And it's not necessarily the space that Zavada is able to occupy, it's the way in which he creates for others in a game like this, where space is at such a premium. That might be the biggest way that the Wellington Phoenix are feeling the impact of Oscar Zavada's absence today.
And when Giancarlo Italiano looks along his bench, who does he see as a possible replacement? Well, Casey Roybell has been told to come and have a look at this one. Lara Lee is in the VAR booth. Marco Rudan can't believe it. So Casey Roybell is going to have a look at the coming together of Marcelo and Bozidar Kraev. It seemed utterly innocuous at first look.
I think it was niggly, was probably the high water mark of it. There's a forearm out from Marcelo, but that's good defending, unless you can actually point to the way in which he's throwing an elbow.
There is nothing in that, Jacob. There is absolutely nothing in that.
As a central defender, you've got to know where your striker is, and you also need to tell them where you are. And it's a top-of-the-table clash, Jason. This is going to happen. I don't think we need to litigate it or review it in any sort of detail.
Well, let's have a look. And thankfully, sanity has prevailed.
Marco Rudan has just spotted himself on the big screen here at Sky Stadium. He can appreciate the poetry and his reaction being captured there for the Yellow Fever to see.
You could tell by the reaction of Marcelo that he ran into Kraev accidentally. You could see by his body language. He goes, "Oh, sorry, mate, I've run into you there. I've trodden on your foot by mistake." There was absolutely nothing in it.
Exactly the sort of thing I'd like to see from my centre-back, especially with a player the quality of Kraev.
Excellent intervention there from Jorrit Hendricks. That was headed for David Ball in the penalty area, that pass. Tim Payne again looking to make use of a bit of room. That's a good cross. Marcelo gets it away. And then Priestman brings it out. Milanovic. And the other 14, Rufa, takes it off his toe.
Well, disruptor in chief at the second time of asking. Repels that attack. And that's the first time that Valentino Yule has lost Tim Payne. 50 minutes into the game. And saw there the quality that Tim Payne possesses when he's got time and space. That was into such a dangerous area. Fortunately for Western Sydney, it fell to one of their defenders. We also got a snapshot of the threat on the break as well. The men in black and red sprang forward.
And look to construct another attack here. Perez gets away from his defender, and it's a corner off the back of Sam Sutton. Fourth corner of the contest for the visitors.
Time and space, and he gets that beyond. Yule, who's trying to get back to block it. Only just over the head of Kraev and ball, and it doesn't quite fall to Costa Barbarousse at the back post.
So Hendricks again on set-piece duty. The natural curve of the left-footed delivery should be helpful for the Wanderers. The delivery is good. Paulson, though, saw it coming, and then once again runs into Valentino Yule. That's a couple of times that's happened.
Often a dead ball is the way in which these sorts of games are pried open. A lovely delivery in for Hendricks, but Alex Paulson in command of the 6-yard.
Tim Payne is being used more and more in the Wanderers' half.
Just felt there that Tim Payne could have been a bit more ambitious. He took his touchdown and took it back into the centre of the park. And he tried to take that forward. It got beyond Yule. Would have created an overload, and Jack Clisby would have had to deal with him and Kraev.
Pennington zips a pass into Kraev. Just a bit too far away from the Phoenix front man to control. Just feels like a waiting game for fans of both sides. Who's got what it takes to pick the opposition lock? Here comes Simmons again. Hendricks. Joran Hendricks. Milanovic. Once again, the attack is snuffed out. Kraev back doing defensive work. Bodies all over the place, and then the ball is going to fall. Is it to Ben Old? Well, not if Marcelo has anything to do with it. Very composed defending again from the Brazilian captain of Western Sydney. Antonsen. Gets it back, Marcus Antonsen.
The game's starting to creep open now.
Perez gets a little bit of space. Only Yule in the area. Clisby arriving. He puts his foot through it. Gets a rebound as Jack Clisby, so gets a second bite at it.
There's suggestions of transition. There's space that's starting to develop, and Hendricks is getting on the ball more and more.
Perez. He rips it across, and the diving header, or attempted diving header from Nicholas Milanovic, inches away from making contact.
A lovely play out right. Simmons finds Perez, and that ball is centimetres away from the head of Milanovic. Oh, what a chance. Dips in between Finn Sermon and Tim Payne. No opportunity for Alex Paulson to come and get that one.
His next A-League goal will be his 10th, Nicholas Milanovic. Paul Eiffel sideline for us. Does it feel like a goal is somewhere in our future, Ifey?
Let's hope so. But it's certainly opened up. Start of the second half. I think the Phoenix are trying to get Tim Payne as he's going now. No, they're trying to get him into the game. I think at the moment there's a little bit of a struggle down with Ben Old and Sam Sutton. I think there's a little bit of joy for Western Sydney Wanderers down that side, and I think Rudan has worked that out. So they're trying to play down one side, get it quickly out to the other, and those crosses are coming in. It seems to be a matter of time before they one of those crosses does find the mark. So I think the Phoenix need to be a little bit careful down that side.
It seems there's more width, high feet. Looks like the Phoenix might have moved to a 4-3-3 defensively, so there's more space outside those wide midfielders.
Yeah, look, I think for the most part, Chiefy won't be too worried about the crosses coming in, because it doesn't look like there's anybody potent enough to put the ball in the back of the net. But the more that keep coming in, at some point you expect, you know, a little mistake and someone to get on the end of one.
Costa Barbarouses picks the pocket of Priestman, sets up ball. Pennington is all alone on the far post. Sutton arriving. And it all fizzled out, unfortunately, for Wellington. David Ball goes back to recycle.
Oh, there were numbers there, weren't there? Barbarouses went with the obvious pass out to Ball, and then it needs to be cut back and chopped onto the right-hand side. Craven, Old, broken forward.
Lovely ball by Sutton to Olds. He's in the area, past Marcelo, across the 6-yard box. No one there for Wellington. Pennington gives it back to Payne. Plenty of yellow shirts to aim at, doesn't find any of them. Hendricks gets it away, and Paredes completes the job.
Well, Hendricks at both ends at the moment. It's a bit of a volley. Chances for Western Sydney, now for Wellington. A rally, I should say, Barney.
Well, the Yellow Fever looking to rally behind their team.
And just waiting up this right-hand side at the moment.
And gets the ball now from Barbarouses. Nowhere to go for Tim Payne at the moment. Rufer. Kraev. He wraps his foot around it. Hendricks again gets a vital touch. Clisby can't get it away. Kraev looking to get the better of Valentino Yule, and does. The cross is excellent. David Ball climbing high, can't get ahead of Marcelo. Kraev did pretty well to wrap his foot around that one. He's on the ball again. This time his intended pass was cut out.
I know Marco Rudan would much prefer to see him up the other end of the field, but Valentino Yule has been industrious defensively. He got back and made sure that he's done his job. So the latest iteration of that there, a toe to the ball from Božidar Kraev. He's attempted being played inside.
Here is Hendricks. This is where he does some of his best work. Finds Yule. Valentino Yule. Blocked this time by Božidar Kraev. Simmons. Paredes. Priestman. Everybody back for Wellington. Too much on that one, and Paulson will be untroubled together.
He's not the player that you want on the ball in the final third, Alex Bonatig. Trying to see the likes of Dylan Paredes and Yule. Haven't seen Antonsen so far this half.
Sutton and Old look to combine again. Old faced by Marcelo, who's seen it all before. Valentino Yule with a shove in the back of Tim Payne. You look at a defender like Marcelo, he's just absolutely imperious, isn't he? Must be very frustrating to play against a defender like that, I think.
Tiny even to that. I look sometimes, and I'm looking at some of the A-League centre-backs, and I think I could still play against them. I absolutely hate to play it against Marcelo. He just does things so easily, and he makes players look silly. I mean, Ben Old's a class dribbler. Let him go down the side. Thought he was going to jink inside, and he just takes the ball off him. like he's a youngster coming through, which, you know, he is at the moment. I think somebody like Marcelo is such a leader, and when you get the right imports in this league, it's so important. I think he certainly has been one.
He's almost paternal, isn't he, in the way which he plays the game against Bernard. He's like the designated adult on the field today. He's standing out.
Wellington, though, have another corner. Payne with the flat delivery. Wooten is there. It's going to loop onto the roof of Lawrence Thomas's net. Change coming for Western Sydney. Alexander Badalato is ready to make his entrance. Told it'll be Valentino Yule who makes way for Badalato. Priestman. Lisby looking to find Antonsen. It's not cleared by Wellington, but Tim Payne will mop up. No sign of any changes in the offing for Wellington just yet.
Badalato is having to wait a while. He's been down pitch side now for the better part of 2 minutes.
Payne is again the target for Wooten. Drifts it into David Ball. Bit of work to do for David Ball, and Marcelo, predictably, is the equal of the Englishman. Now Alex Badalato can make his entrance. The teenager just had the 4 minutes so far of action this season, so he's going to get the best part of another 25 or so here. Valentino Yule, you've mentioned him a couple of times, Jacob.
Very good shift from the Western Sydney Wanderers, number 11. We saw the best of him in possession today, but has done more than his part for his team. He's been disciplined, shown great work ethic, and by and large has nullified the threat, which is Tim Payne down this right-hand side.
Barbarouses looks to move into a pocket of space. Rufer battling away, and Pennington. The Western Sydney have come away with it. Milanovic. First chance for Badalato to get involved. In fact, this is Antonsen. Badalato on the far side. Milanovic. Chance for Simmons. Aidan Simmons in the area. Ambitious volley from Milanovic. Might have been on target too.
Nico Pennington, that time the man sticking to his task. One little touch from Badalato in the first few minutes that he's on the field. Killed what was a rather awkward ball dead. See Tim Payne down this near side. That's the sort of ball that needs to be hit with accuracy. It needs to allow Tim Payne to take it in step down the right-hand side instead of coming back into the field.
Antonsen seizes upon this one. Finds Milanovic. Back to Antonsen. Good move building here, but no one at the far post. So Sam Sutton can bring it safely away.
fatigue is starting to take its toll. There's space, but the attacks are rather blunted at the moment. The run isn't being made across, isn't finding its mark.
Barbarousis reaches onto the ball from Ute into the area, outside of the foot, and headed up and over by Alex Bonnetig. Good defending by the Western Sydney Wanderers centre-back. Clever use of the outside of the foot from Costa Barbarousis.
Well, there's a distance issue there. Simmons got caught too high up the field. He's asking Dylan Piraeus why he hadn't dropped, and it results in space for Costa Barbarousis, who flashes that one across the near post. Results in the corner. Something for Lawrence Thomas to deal with. Being very quiet.
He's got some more defending to do possibly here. The corner to be taken by Ben Old this time. Towards the far post. Wooten heads it back. And up and over his own crossbar again from Bonnetig. It'll be another corner.
It's not the first time Scott Wooten's been lurking at the back post. Wellington Phoenix looking to get the runners in across and then stand it up to that back post area where Wooten can go one-on-one, that time against Piraeus.
No goals yet this season for Scott Wooten. Corner taken by Payne, and Rufer was closest to it for Wellington. It flashed wide from Alex Rufer. Not a prolific goal scorer by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a tantalising delivery, hit with pace and bend. Oh, and it's a touch. It's Badalato just in front of Rufer. Flashes beyond Lawrence Thomas's goal. Keep on talking about margins, Tiny. There's always a toe, there's always a player throwing their body in the way or someone stretching just to get anything on the ball.
Here's Milanovic going deep into the penalty area. Clisby, and then there's a free kick and rather unnecessarily given away by Bojidar Kraev.
He's asking the question, I think, unequivocally, that's a foul. There's absolutely no need for that whatsoever. It's a tired challenge. Jack Clisby does well getting across to ensure that he does win it, however. The question is, where is Marcelo? Don't want him to be that free.
There he is with the armband on. Hendricks towards Marcelo, doesn't reach him. Kraev gets the header away.
Just looking down at the Wellington Phoenix bench, it looks like Mohamed Altay. It might be Oscar Van Hatten as well. Received instructions from Adam Griffiths.
Well, Oscar Van Hatten would certainly add a different dimension in terms of a front man. Still searching for that first A-League men's goal. Oscar Van Hatten had a glorious chance on Monday night against MacArthur, but couldn't find the target.
Finally, it looks from down here that it might be Supik.
Thank you, high feet. So we could be looking at a debut. Luke Supik. Player of much promise. The latest production out of the Wellington Phoenix Academy.
Yeah, just 17 years old, Luke Supik. It would be a debut for him if he makes his entrance, and it's looking like exactly what is going to happen.
Also looks like it's Clear and Eunice that are coming on for Western Sydney.
Great to see Gabriel Kleur back in action. He's recovered from that hamstring injury that has kept him out all season. It looks like he's going to get his first minutes of the new campaign. Not so new now in round 9. Here come the Wanderers. Is this a chance for Parias? Now the shot in! The net ruffled, but the wrong side of it. Alex Badalato thought he was the man who'd broken the deadlock here.
Well, it comes from Dylan Parias' burrowing into the Wellington Phoenix 18-yard box, and that's not far away. We've talked about the impact of subs, the need for them to be introduced, because the game feels like it's at a tipping point. There's fatigue that is set in. Majority of the starters are starting to get heavier and heavier legs. The brightness, the energy that is introduced from the bench could be the wedge for this game to get broken up.
So Kleur on for Priestman. Marcus Eunice also into the action for Dylan Parias. And a special moment here for 17-year-old Luke Supik. He becomes Phoenix player 176. 6 minutes off the bench in the Australia Cup, but an A-League men's debut. It becomes Wellington Phoenix's 7th youngest player, joining a bunch of other 17-year-olds who have played for the team, the likes of Rufa, Kakachi, Singh, Wayne, Barbarouses. And there is Gabriel Kleur. He's been rehabbing his hamstring injury, and it is obviously now at a point where he can take part again. Supik on for ball, and Ute into the action for Nick Pennington for the final 16 minutes plus stoppages.
With the injuries that Marco Rudan has had to navigate, must be welcome reward having someone return and be available.
Yeah, they'd normally be going to the casualty ward, not out the other side. So yeah, great to see Gabriel Kleur back out there. Good first touch by Supik to get Payne involved. And they'll come back for a free kick here, and a yellow card for Milanovic.
Milanovic saying that's my first one. I think it's a true striker's challenge there. Trying to cover, not quite getting the timing right. And sends Tim Payne tumbling. More of a block than anything, but unfortunately momentum takes him into the Wellington Phoenix number 6.
Third yellow card this season for Milanovic. Tim Payne's okay. So Ute's straight swap for Pennington. "15 minutes to go here in the capital. A draw would keep Wellington at the top of the table for the meantime. However, it would open the door for Melbourne Victory to go top at Christmas if they were to win the Melbourne Derby this evening at Amy Park. Western Sydney Wanderers would stay third for the meantime with a point. But they too could be overhauled if Macarthur beat Perth in Western Australia later on. So those are the permutations with regards to the table. Here is Tim Payne. Ute rebounds to Payne. Rufa, the hopeful ball into the penalty area. It's going to fall to Ben Old. Not a lot of room to work in. Barbarouses. And it's broken up by Milanovic, who's off on a run with about 5 yellow shirts in hot pursuit. He's getting some reinforcements arriving now, Milanovic, but just unfortunately for him, ran out of legs. And it's given away now. Here's Hendricks. Antonsen is there. Rufa takes it off. Marcus Antonsen. No complaints from the Swedish striker. Game is certainly opening up now. Kryev has Barbarouses ahead of him. Kryev running deep into the area. And well defended again by Aidan Simmons.
There's just a cautiousness that's permeating this game at the moment. Players holding on to the ball. Because it's so transitional, have to let it go. Kryev not only across to Barbarouses there, but a number of reinforcements
And again,
through the middle.
the across the 6-yard area, and Marcus Antonsen again is so close to providing the game's opening goal.
Eunice this time down the right-hand side, giving Sam Sutton fresh legs to deal with, and flashes that one across the goal.
Well, that's the last piece of action for Sam Sutton. He's going to be replaced by Lucas Kelly-Heald.
Tim Payne just occupying a high position here. Watch for the rotation between him and Mohamed Altay in particular, but Luke Supek's got an eye on just manoeuvring Hendricks and Clisby out of position. Not fruitful there. Milanovic has been so energetic, so industrious throughout the course of this match, trying to create a spark that ignites his team.
Simmons and Eunice in unison over there. Here's Aidan Simmons on the left foot, and it's deflected wide by Scott Wootton. Alex Paulson was scrambling across.
Well, if anyone deserves reward for their efforts so far, it's that man Simmons, this time on his left foot. Oh, made the right decision. Just wanted to put it on target and then let a defender or a teammate do the rest.
There's a corner coming, though, for Western Sydney Wanderers. Hendricks again in charge. Once again, it's a lofted delivery. Marcelo is there. And he's adjudged to have pushed Alex Rufer.
High feet. We've seen a raft of substitutions that have been made over the last couple of minutes or so as we see the foul by Marcelo. It seems as though the game will be brought to life by a set of fresh legs. Who's looking the most likely at the moment?
I think if the Phoenix can find him, I think young Supek, I've heard that he's got blistering pace, seen a little bit of him in the National League, makes very good runs. I think if they can find him over the top, if Western Sydney are pushing on, I think he looks dangerous. I think with Western Sydney, I still think down that left-hand side for the Phoenix, but I think obviously Chiefy's made the change now with Kelly-Heald, and that might slow things up a little bit for Western Sydney.
The 80-minute mark arrives, and for the meantime anyway, the shirts stay on for the Yellow Fever. Here's Eunice, he's looked good. Here's Bettolato, he's looked good.
It's a clear sight on goal, a very rare thing. Bettolato unhappy that he wasn't able to test Paulson with more veracity. Lovely first touch, sets himself up. Good contact, but right into the midriff of Alex Paulson.
Paul mentioned Luke Supek started all games, all 3 games for New Zealand at the recent Under-17 World Cup in Indonesia. New Zealand unable to get out of their group, but Supek was a regular starter for them. Here's Kelly-Heald. Altay. Western Sydney just sitting in their low block and shuffling from side to side. Ben Old goes through the middle, though. Ben Old rebounds to Payne, but he can't control. Altay will clean up the scraps. Good strength from Altay.
A half suggestion of an opportunity there from Ben Old, and then it fell to Tim Payne, but immediately forced to turn back. You can see what Gianpaolo Italiano's men are trying to do. They're trying to get Old and Mohamed Altay outside Sermon and Wootton They need a midfielder on the ball. They need somebody with the skill set to open up these defensive lines, these stoic defensive lines for Western Sydney.
Tim Payne again. Supik is peeled away. Clisby's come with him. Supik, good energy from the youngster, and earns a corner for his side.
There's a stubbornness about Western Sydney. They're not going to be moved. Nearly everything has been in front or outside today.
Benold going to bend this one and left-footed. Bit of elevation on it. Thomas comes and claims. The two captains come together. It's poked over the touchline by Rufer. So next up for Wellington, they visit Allianz Stadium Friday night to play Sydney FC. Western Sydney host Macarthur at Combank Stadium on New Year's Day. Both would love to go into their next assignments with 3 points banked from this one. All three results well and truly still on the table here. Tay breaks up the latest attack. Barbarousa says he's still got some running in those legs of his. Gives it off to Old and carries on his run. Old looks to find Supik. Bonnetig with a solid header. He's been good today, Alex Bonnetig.
Both defensive lines sticking to their task. Keep what they've got.
Lucas Kelly-Hield with his first chance to join the attack. Into the area, Kraev! Flag is up on this near side. It's not going to count. No need to motion for the VAR. Bojidar Kraev, it will be checked. It will be checked. Mark Rule had the flag raised.
I think this is a fairly clear decision. Kraev could see the play developing, got his head up, just makes the run a half step, a half yard too early. He's already there by the time Lucas Kelly-Hield delivers. It's a lovely finish, but unfortunately, Bojidar, you're the wrong side.
Yeah. No matter how many times you look at the replay, BK, the decision will be the correct one from Mark Rule, one of the better assistant referees going around. Two more subs coming the way of Western Sydney. We're going to see Lockie Brook and Tate Russell introduced. Antonsen for Lockie Brook. Whereas Lockie Brook into the action. First year at Western Sydney. A couple of goals against Western United back in round two. Here's Tate Russell. Missed all of last season with injury. He's into the action for the excellent Aidan Simmons for the final 4 minutes plus stoppages.
I think that's a direct response from the attack that just occurred. Lucas Kelly-Hield in far too much space down Western Sydney's right-hand side. Marco Rudan wanting a fresh set of legs in there.
Here's Lockie Brook with his first involvement. Oh, what a shot from Benalato!
That's a save, Piney.
What a shot, what a save.
Deflection.
Although they're calling for the corner, but it's not been given, so you can't give it as a save, unfortunately, Jacob.
Let's see this back. I'm sure it takes a touch there initially, and then if we've got another angle, that's a feather touch from Alex Paulson. That is a wonderful save. Don't care what the assistant referee says, Jason Pine.
Well, unfortunately, it's not going to go down as a save, is it? Because if it was a save, then this would be a corner. It's a goal kick in the eyes of the officials. But it doesn't take away from the athleticism of Alex Paulson and the precocious nature of the shot from Alex Benalato.
It's not dissimilar to the save that he made early at Western Sydney this season. Big right hand. Hopefully we'll be able to show you another angle of that just to confirm it.
Lockie Brook getting involved, looking to add to his 3 A-League men's goals.
And here we go. We've got evidence to prove my claim. I'm pretty sure it takes a touch off Mohamed Altay, and there we go. Feathery but important.
Right in front of the small knot of Western Sydney Wanderers fans who thought that their youngster Batalato had found the game's opening goal and most likely its winning goal. Hendricks delivers the latest corner. Marcelo with the header straight into the arms of Paulson. A much more comfortable gather on that occasion. Look on Wellington to concede it. Jacob, absolutely. You saw the feather touch there.
I've got my contacts in today, Jason.
Great to see some travelling fans here for Christmas.
Superb. Come to the summary destination of Wellington.
So as we tick towards the 90th minute, we're told that there will be a minimum of 6 minutes added at the end of the second half. So plenty of time for both sides to find a winner.
I think that's the often underappreciated aspect of the VAR reviews. The players have been on the field for the typical 45 minutes, and then we've got a stoppage to check something for around about 90 seconds, 2 minutes. There's obviously an injury in there as well, which bolsters the additional minutes, but that's why we need to be so careful when we get involved in those sorts of reviews. Of course, if there's a goal now, Jason, I think the commercial managers will be more happy.
Well, in 32 games before this season between these two, there'd only ever been one goalless draw in those 32 encounters, and we're about 6 minutes away from back-to-back stalemates. But Ben Old might have something to say about that. Barbarouses. Old again, faced by Russell. Slips on the surface momentarily, Ben Old. He can't wrap his left peg around it, but it will be a corner.
Dogged determination. He's dominating proceedings at the moment. 6 minutes confirmed by the fourth official. And the last time we were here, Tim Payne flashed one into the back post. I think it was Batalato that time that was back defending, and Alex Roof has taken up a very similar position to that where he was denied previously.
Into added time we go. Is there a late show? Payne delivers near post. Not cleared by Western Sydney at the first time of asking. They should be able to get it away okay now. Roof up, forward towards Barbarouses. He's nipped around Thomas. He's put it in the back of the net. Costa Barbarouses. Costa delivers at Christmas time. And he might have given Wellington Phoenix all 3 points here.
Oh, how has he done that? What a lovely touch. I thought the chance had gone, though. He faded away from a central position into a position left of the goal, and then he gets it up and almost through Marcelo. A run off the back of Clisby, touch beyond Thomas, doesn't look, just wraps his left foot around it. Unfortunately, Marcelo this time can't deny the Wellington Phoenix. It's Costa Barbarouses got 3 and 2.
It's a terrific finish. Everything about it from Costa Barbarouses. The touch away from Thomas. The finish from an acute angle past the despairing lunge of Marcelo, and Costa Barbarouses with A-League men's goal number 83 might just have earned the 3 points for his hometown club. Paul Eiffel, a finish you would have been proud of.
I don't know if I'd have tucked that in my left foot, Piney. It was a fantastic finish. Look, great run from Costa off the blind side. It's a great through ball. The touch is absolutely magnificent. And then to have the composure just to lift it. Obviously got a deflection, took it right into the top corner, but a fantastic run and finish from Costa, who's looked good all game, actually.
Sorry, Ife, we've got something happening at halfway. I'm not quite sure what's going on here. Are they asking for a VAR review for the offside? Or have they taken the kick-off quickly and felt like they've been denied an opportunity to catch the Phoenix napping?
Yeah, they've tried to take the kick-off quickly. The Phoenix were obviously celebrating. Rudan was quite smart and told his players to get back into position and just go. They've taken the kick-off and they've obviously ran it into an empty net, and there's an argument ensuing now. They've given the goal to the Phoenix, and I assume the Western Sydney goal will not stand.
Hopefully we've got some visuals to show everyone at home. I think a lot of our cameras were tracking Costa Barbarouses and the celebration that was occurring down in front of the Yellow Fever.
You know, you did right, Paul Eiffel. That's exactly what's happened. Wellington Phoenix's goal has been allowed. Western Sydney's quick response has been disallowed. 1-0 is the score, and Western Sydney now need to chase the game in the remaining 2.5 minutes to take something away from Wellington. Costa Barbarouses, meantime, sets off with Ben Old outside.
He's got Supergam Ute down the right as well.
He slides it to Ben Old! Wrap it up! Put a bow on it! Stick it under the Christmas tree! The Phoenix have won this one at Christmas time, and Ben Old, unerring, into the far corner beyond Lawrence Thomas. It is a Christmas cracker from Wellington.
Oh, the shirts are off now, Jason. Yellow Fever enjoying that one. Costa Barbarouses off the back of some tidy work from Mohamed Ute. He had reinforcements right and left. Picks Ben Old, kicked that one out. Stunning counter-attack by the Wellington Phoenix. Costa Barbarouses, the catalyst, scores and then sets up. And just a footnote, but the Wellington Phoenix have asked for a substitution just to ensure that we don't have to check any other uninhibited attack that the Western Sydney Wanderers might spring.
Yeah, Isaac Hughes is going to earn a third A-League men's appearance for the last minute or so. They'll add a couple more surely, because 2 or 3 of the added 6 minutes have been spent in Phoenix celebration. Costa Barbarouses is the man being replaced. Well, what an impact by Costa again. The goal that unlocked Western Sydney's stubborn defence, and the assist for Ben Old. Let's have a look at what Western Sydney Wanderers tried to do after Costa Barbarouses opened the scoring. They thought, we'll kick off and score into an unguarded net. They went all the way down the other end and tucked it away in the person of Nicholas Milanovic.
Oh, I love the cheekiness of it. If you wanted to be a pantomime villain, Marco Rudan, that would have cemented it.
Well, what a grandstand finish. Both teams so solid defensively for 90-plus minutes. But Costa Barbarouses, well, they say it's a time for giving, and he has given Wellington Phoenix fans a reason to celebrate in the festive season.
Yellow Fever saluting the Wellington Phoenix, celebrating top at Christmas.
Western Sydney looking for something out of this game. It's into the hands of Alex Paulson, who collapses to the turf. That might just about be it. Check of the watch from Casey Rybelt. Western United again. Still time for them to find a consolation. Powerful punch from Paulson. Still time to play. Another check of the watch from Casey Rybell. Still time to play as we approach the 9th added minute. There is no better place to be at Christmas time than right at the top of the tree. Wellington Phoenix will enjoy their Christmas turkey from the summit of the A-League men's ladder. Late goals from Costa Barbarouses and Ben Old have earned them all 3 points. The Wellington Phoenix 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. Well, what an arm wrestle. For 90 minutes, these two went at one another and defended their own net stoutly. But it took a piece of Costa Barbarouses' brilliance as he chats with Jets Van Stratton, the Western Sydney Wanderers goalkeeping coach there. It took a piece of Costa magic to unlock Western Sydney's defence. He took it round Lawrence Thomas, finished from an acute angle. And then Costa set Ben Old away, and it was a driven finish from Ben Old to secure the points. Yellow fever, absolutely delirious. They've got, by my count, 5 more pubs to visit. You won't get them out of the CBD in Wellington until the early hours of tomorrow morning. Wellington Phoenix go to 20 points on the A-League ladder. We'll update the standings in our post-game show. They go 4 clear of Melbourne Victory, who, even if they win the derby later tonight, cannot catch the Phoenix at the top. A satisfied smile on the face of Giancarlo Italiano. We'll hear from him in our post-match show as well. He always keeps his emotions pretty much in check, does the man they call Chief. But he has got every right to be delighted with what he's seen play out, particularly right at the end of this one. Let's get to sideline where Goran Paladin is alongside Victoria's Wellington skipper Alex Rufer.
Yeah, a very happy, very tired skipper of the Wellington Phoenix, Alex Rufer. Take us into your mind, if you would, for a moment, Roofs. It's time added on, 0-0, a tough match against Western Sydney Wanderers. You spy Costa Barbarouses. You've got the confidence to put it on a dime for him?
Yeah, look, he made a great run and fortunate enough to put it on the plate for him. So, look, he did the rest. But really, really proud tonight. You know, it was like a game of chess out there, you know, 2 really strong defensive teams. But we kept digging towards the end. We stayed patient and we won the game.
Yeah, and then there was just desserts for Ben Old. He made his first start of the season last week against MacArthur, and then he and Costa Barbarouses are forming quite a decent combination in the attacking third. He scores. You must have been absolutely thrilled for a guy who's been out for a long time with injury.
Yeah, look, I know that feeling. But like you said, really, really proud of him. He keeps getting better and better every week, and he deserves everything that he's doing. So, yeah, long may it continue.
You mentioned it was like a game of chess there for large periods of the game. You're in there as captain, middle of the park. Can you tell us exactly how tight it was in there in terms of finding space?
Yeah, look, as I said, 2 teams that defended very, very well and very structured. Not a lot of space, so you have to move the ball quick, and I don't think we did that well enough in the first half. But look, we were calm, we were patient, and like I said, you know, sometimes it takes 90 minutes to get a goal, and that's what happened today.
Before you go and enjoy it, one last question. Friday next week, you're up against Ufuk Talay and his Sydney side. How much are you looking forward to that?
We look forward to every game. I said it earlier in the year, and we're not scared of anyone. So we'll take anyone on at the moment, and we're buzzing.
Top of the tree at Christmas, Roofs. Enjoy it, mate.
Yeah, all good, all good. Cheers.
Wellington Phoenix have won this game 2-0. As I say, top of the tree on Christmas Day. We'll review it all here live on Sky Sport from Sky Stadium next. Myself, Paul Eiffel, Jacob Spoonley and Ben Old, goal scorer for the black and yellow.